You go back and forth like a yo-yo, up and...
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I had the intention of getting dressed up and ready for this video. I was going to do my hair, my makeup, put on a cute outfit, but honestly, I can't be bothered. And I also am covered in mosquito bites, so I just put on like sweatpants and a big baggy sweater just to stop itching because they're everywhere. They're even on my face. I don't know if it's because I'm O positive. I don't know if blood type has anything to do with it, but I've been eaten to a pulp. So today's video actually is not what I originally had planned. I was supposed to upload a video of me trying different Japanese snacks. It was already filmed. If you watched last week's video, you know that it was supposed to come up today, but I lost all of the footage.
No! God, please, no! No!
Every last drop. I don't know if I just wasn't recording or what happened, but today we are going to be doing a Q&A. So I posted on Instagram probably a couple of hours ago for you guys to ask me questions. And you guys asked me so many. A lot of them have to do with recovery, and you guys have questions about your own recovery or my recovery. Oh, by the way, if you're new here, hello. My name is Kailin and I post videos every single Saturday, and I post mainly about recovery, so about eating disorder recovery, about what I eat in a week, intuitive eating, body confidence, all sorts of things like that. So today, let's answer some questions. And if you do want to participate in a Q&A next time, then just, follow me on Instagram, ask me some questions, and you can be featured in the video next time. But like I said, you guys asked me some deep questions, so let's just get right on into it. So one of the first questions that I got is, when did you first realize that you had an eating disorder? So if you saw my eating disorder video, like my story, you know that I had food struggles from when I was super young, but I didn't realize that I had a problem until I started hearing more about eating disorders, until people were more vocal about their stories, until I started watching people on YouTube talk about their bad food habits. I also saw other people's relationships with food and realized that it was like healthy and normal and balanced, and they didn't think about food for like 5 to 6 hours a day or exercise vigorously just to counteract what they're eating. And to have people in my life that had healthy relationships with food, at first I coveted it. I was angry and I was upset. And then I realized that, they're not the problem, I'm the problem. So I think I actually realized that I had a problem and was like conscious about what I was doing probably in like my late teens. So it was probably around 17 or 18. And I realized like, okay, I have a lot of problems, but I didn't fix them, or I guess attempt to fix them properly, until probably around 2 years ago or so. But around when I was 18, probably when I realized something is really wrong. And it took me a really long time to realize that something was wrong because I was in denial, like so much denial. I was like, look, I'm healthy, I'm exercising, I'm eating these foods that are deemed as healthy, but God, my mind was so sick, and so was my body. But always realize that it's not your body that has to change, it's your mind. Somebody asks, what is your favorite food? Honey, this changes all the time, but right now I love bagels, fresh farmers strawberries, watermelon's always been my favorite fruit. I love me a good pasta dish, pizza. God, I can't just name one food. I really can't. But comment your favorite food below because I might try it out for a video. Somebody asks, what is your favorite form of self-care? I love that question, and I love you guys so much. Oh my goodness, it was probably so freaky, but you guys are awesome, and thank you so much for all of the questions. But my favorite form of self-care probably has to do with reading. And that is because it's time just for me, and it also gives me an escape. I'm able to leave my reality. If I'm feeling really stressed and anxious, I can grab one of these bad boys back here and just go into a world that's not my own. And I also write. I'm working on my first novel that I hope to publish one of these days. It's fiction. It has nothing to do with eating disorders or anything like that, honestly. It's a fantasy novel, and I'm really proud of where it's going. So I'll either write, or I'll read, or I'll try to take a nice really hot shower and just try to, because sometimes you just feel dirty, like you feel the weight of your day all over you, and sometimes you just have to take a nice hot shower. I'll paint my nails occasionally, but that's like when I've had a really rough day and like want to glam, because I feel like I want to glam. And then sometimes it's honestly just like vegging out on the sofa and watching some Desperate Housewives or Prison Break or Ozark. Those are my like top 3 favorite shows. I'm in love with them. And Friends. Can't forget Friends. But yeah, I'll just take it easy. And I think that self-care is different for everybody. Some people it's, you know, getting out of bed and taking a shower. Other people it's getting out and going on a walk. But do you? Okay. I got a lot of questions about health, the body positive movement, and being overweight. So many different questions, phrased so many different ways. And I want to address this topic in general. So, being healthy has nothing to do with your size. It has nothing to do with your weight, with your BMI, or how you look. It has everything to do with lifestyle. And it doesn't always have to do with physical health as well. Like, it has to encompass mental health, emotional health, and physical health. You do have to be moving your body. You have to be stimulating your mind in a positive way and not having negative thoughts all the time. That's not healthy. But I don't think that somebody who is thin is automatically or should be automatically labeled as healthy. And I don't think that somebody who is in a bigger body should be automatically labeled as unhealthy, because like I said, that's not what health is based off of. Stephanie Buttermore actually posted a video recently about the misconceptions of her all-in journey. I'll link the video in my down bar. It was wonderful. But she spoke about health in a way that I wasn't used to hearing it. She was talking about how it has to do with function and the body being able to function properly, and I totally agree with that. I think that health has so much more to do with lifestyle and how you're living your day every single day than it does with weight. So just to address all of those questions that everybody had, can you be big and healthy? Yes. Can you be thin and healthy? Yes. I just quickly want to mention that intuitive eating and your intuitive eating journey has nothing to do with weight. It is not a weight loss diet. It is not a weight loss lifestyle. It is simply a way of living. It's a way of being free from, oh my God. It's a way to be free from food rules and to get rid of diet culture and to not be weight focused. The point, you don't want to live your life being weight focused. You know, you have so much more to offer the world, and what you have to offer has nothing to do with your weight. Like, your body is the least important thing about you. Just, you know, get that idea out of your head. And also just to stop equating health with a certain body type, because health doesn't have a specific body type. You and I can eat the exact same thing and do the exact same exercise and still have completely different bodies. And you know why? Because we're different people. And we can do the same exact thing. So everybody is different. Your weight shouldn't be the deciding factor of health. It shouldn't be that pillar of, oh, if you're under this weight, you're healthy, and if you're over that weight, oh my God, you're so unhealthy. That's just, it's a load of bogus to me. Somebody asked tips to stop demonizing food. This is something I think you're going to have to continue to work on, because if you're seeing food as good or bad, or some foods as evil, it's a lot more to do with your mind and fixing that mindset that you have. And ways that you can fix that is to challenge those food rules and to challenge those fear foods. I've made a couple of videos on fear foods. I'll also link those down below. But for example, if you as a person demonize pasta because you think pasta is scary, it's going to make you gain weight, it's demonized in the media everywhere, continue to have pasta every single week, or maybe even if you can stomach it and if you feel like it, every single day, just to continue to eat that pasta and that food until you realize that, like, wow, this is just food. And you have to eat it until you're not scared of it anymore. And that's my biggest tip. If you find yourself still demonizing certain foods, for example, sweets, then have a little dessert every single night until you're not scared of that food anymore. And that's the biggest tip that I can give you. And also to go seek professional help. There are free online therapists / counselors that you can speak to. I'll try to find some and link them down below, but if I can't, I apologize. And if you have the means to go see a therapist, there's nothing wrong with going to therapy. Therapy is really flipping cool. Those would be my tips, is to either seek some help just so that you can talk about what you're going through, and also to just continue to eat those foods until you're not scared of them anymore. Somebody asked, what are your tips for intuitive eating on a budget? So I understand that intuitive eating can seem like you have to be made of money, and that is not true, okay? I've got a mortgage to pay. But that's a really good question, and I think I have 3 tips for you. The first one would be to shop at stores that aren't super expensive. So I'm from Canada, and where I live, we don't have a Whole Foods, but I know in the States, I know a lot of my viewers are also from the States. You have, Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and Aldi's and Walmart and those places. So try to shop at more economic stores. So Walmart, Aldi's, even Trader Joe's, I think that's somewhere in the middle. But don't go to Whole Foods for all of your food. It's ridiculous. So try to find a store that still has similar things that you'd be able to buy somewhere else. Buy things from there, or even support smaller local businesses. We go to the farmers market a lot, and I find it's a little bit more expensive to purchase everything at once there, but we're also buying in bulk, so it ends up being cheaper in the long run. Another thing that I would recommend is trying to make things homemade more often. Homemade sauces, homemade bread is so cheap to make, it's unbelievable. And you can also incorporate loose meal planning. With intuitive eating, there are no meal plans, but maybe for breakfast, you often have smoothies. So maybe, loosely buy a big bag of frozen mango that is gonna last you throughout the week or something like that, loose meal planning. And I just wanna stress that the main difference between loose meal planning with intuitive eating and actual meal planning is that there is nothing rigid in intuitive eating. It is super flexible. If you're not feeling it one day, you don't have to eat it. You are never obliged to finish your plate. You're never obliged to finish your meal, and you're always allowed to go back for seconds or thirds or whatever you feel like. But you can buy just in bulk. I think that that's a good tip. You can buy rice in bulk, flour in bulk. You can go to Bulk Barn, bring your own containers, and just fill her up. It ends up being cheaper. And also just be more wary about going out to restaurants and things like that, and just try to make maybe homemade versions of your favorite restaurant dishes. So I guess those are my top tips for budget saving. Somebody says, how did you and your boyfriend meet? My boyfriend's name is Andrew, for those of you who don't know, and we met probably around 4 years ago. We actually played volleyball together for probably around a year. We were both in other long-term relationships, and then we both ended up breaking up with our significant others at the time. But we both played volleyball together, and how he asked me out is we were flirting on and off for a couple of months, and then one day I was walking home. I was supposed to be taking the bus, but I saw him walking, so I decided to walk too, and we were walking. And then we got to an intersection where we kind of had to go our separate ways because, I was going home and he was going to his duplex. And he was like, hey, would you like to get a drink sometime? And I was about to say yes, but then he just kept going because he was so nervous. And then he was like, or a movie, or a dinner and a movie, or we can walk your dogs, or I can just watch your dogs. And I was so overwhelmed because he was just shooting one thing after the other. And I stopped and I was like, yes to all of them. And so then we went out on our first date. I'd say 2 or 3 days later. It was the best first date of my life, and the rest is history. We have a house now, we have 2 dogs, and I love that man very dearly. So I feel like I said dearly, weird. But we met playing volleyball, and he's the love of my life. And I got a few other questions about my boyfriend, like why is he never on camera? I'm a very open person, but I'm also a very private person for some things, and he doesn't really get YouTube. He doesn't really watch YouTube that much, so I don't think that he gets that like boyfriends or significant others are like on other people's YouTube channels. So I haven't necessarily invited him, but he hasn't shown too much interest in being on my channel, so I'm not sure if that will ever happen, but if it does, I'll post a video. But if not, you know, we're never breaking up or anything, so he's always around. Somebody asked, how do I get my period back? Love from Spain. I can't believe there are people in Spain watching me. I love you. This is more of a conversation for you to have with a medical This is more of a conversation for you to have with a medical professional and a doctor. I am not a doctor, but I can talk from my own experience, and I did lose my period, not for that long, probably for around 4 months or so. And how I got my period back was I stopped exercising completely, except for going on walks with my dog. And I also ate a lot more than I was. And another person that I would recommend, I know I already mentioned her, but is to follow Stephanie Buttermore. She talks about this a lot on her channel. And also a dietitian that I really like to watch on YouTube is Abby Sharp. She's great. You should go follow her. She gives some really stellar advice, and I'm pretty sure that she did a whole video on getting your periods back. But if not, I'll find one and I will post it in the description below from an accredited source. Who are your favorite body positive accounts on Instagram? Hold on, let me go find them. Okay, I have so many. I'll put their ats over here as well. So my favorite are The Birds Papaya, Charlie Ann, Mick Zazon, The Fuck It Diet, which is more about like intuitive eating. Drawn Me, I don't know if I'm saying her name right. Drawn Me, Jessie Jean, Ariella Nisa, Carrie Dayton is a great YouTuber if you want one to follow. Those are all that are like coming off at the top of my head. So I hope that that's enough for now. That's just some inspiration for you guys, but those are a couple of my favorite. Yo, I got some good questions that just came in. You guys just keep coming. Okay. How to deal with the fact that your body is changing. I keep seeing myself in the mirror and I look different and I find it very hard. I've been there. I still am there some days. And my biggest tip for this is to stop body checking. Stop looking in the mirror. Stop, like pinching your rolls and twisting your body and like looking at yourself or looking at old photos and comparing yourself. Comparison is the worst, and it's also bad when you're doing it with bodies that you used to live in. This is your body now. You have to accept it. You have to love it. You have to come from a place of self-love and compassion. What's the point of hating yourself? Life is so short. Life is too short. You hear every day about people dying in these strange circumstances. Celebrities dying, neighbors, people that you knew. And imagine your last thought on this earth is, I am fat. Like, what a shitty thought. You don't want to go out in that. So some of my tips are wear clothes that make you feel good, wear clothes that are the correct size, don't body check, and maybe stop talking about bodies in general, because I find that when I was very obsessed with how I looked and very obsessed with my body, I spoke about bodies a lot. So when I was very insecure, I would like talk about other people's bodies and celebrities' bodies, and I would Google celebrity diets, and that is what I was doing. So to try to correct that behavior, just stop yourself, and you're still gonna make mistakes, you're still gonna, you know, check yourself or whatever you're doing, but to actually have the knowledge to say like, stop, this isn't normal, this isn't great. And also, I quickly want to recommend this workbook. I got it from Amazon, I think for like $14. I'll link it down below, but it's called the Intuitive Eating Workbook, 10 Principles for Nourishing a Healthy Relationship with Food. I know that the question was about like body checking and your body changing, but if you're interested in intuitive eating, this is a great book. I've been loving it so far, but I'll leave the link down below. I got a few questions about guilt and intuitive eating and how to stop feeling guilty for eating food. And this is completely normal, especially in the first stage of intuitive eating, when you're eating a bunch of foods that you haven't had in so long, or you're eating foods that you've demonized, or you're eating foods that you were scared of. And this is totally normal to feel the way that you're feeling, to feel that guilt. But my biggest tip is do not restrict and do not stop. Do not do that, because you're gonna throw all of your progress from intuitive eating out the window if you begin to restrict, because the whole point is to honor your body, honor your hunger, and try to get those hunger cues back, because you've lost them through all of this dieting and restriction. Your body doesn't know when it's hungry, your body doesn't know when it's full. And you know, all of those diets that you follow, they don't know you, they are not you. They can't tell you when you're hungry, when to eat. These fitness coaches who are giving you meal plans, they don't know when you're hungry. They don't know how much your body needs, but your body does. So don't give up on your body. Continue to eat when you're hungry. And obviously those hunger cues are gonna be super whack and super off at first, but just keep going. Don't restrict. And to deal with the guilt, try to find different outlets, emotional outlets. Some that I mentioned earlier, reading, writing, you can go painting, you can go on walks, talk to a professional, talk to a friend about how you're feeling. My DMs are always open. I answer every single one of them. It takes me a while sometimes, but I always get to them. But just know that you're not alone. Know that it's normal, and know that it will not last forever. I think I just flashed everybody in my boobs. A little change of hairstyle, but you know when your hair has been like in a bun or a ponytail for so long and your head is just like aching? That's where I'm at right now. It's Thursday, it's almost Friday. God, I can't wait for Friday. How to deal with your body changing when you're on your menstrual cycle, bloating and everything. Right now, one, bloating is totally normal. Don't stress about it, but I understand that it's uncomfortable. And instead of restricting because of this discomfort that you're feeling, put on different clothes. Don't have your jeans buttoned up to here. Literally put on sweatpants, put on baggy clothes, still enjoy your meals. What I really like to do is take a really, I've said really so many times. What I like to do is take a really hot bath to de-stress. To do self-care, especially when you're not feeling that great. Just don't let your self-care be thrown out the window, okay? But don't body check, just keep going, wear comfortable clothes, and do you. Another question that I got about periods is, how long does your period last for? And it's like, is my period normal? I'm not a doctor. I can only talk about my own point of view. My periods usually last for around like 3-ish days, something like that. I use the Diva Cup. It has changed my life. If you have questions about Diva Cups, or if you want me to do a whole video on it, I will, because I am passionate about it. Some people think that they're gross. Honey, they are sustainable. They are better for you. You don't even know they're there. Like, anyway, that's a whole story for like another video. Somebody says, could you film a get ready with me for a date night? Heck yes. The date nights these days though are like putting on pajamas, going to the couch and watching Netflix. But once the world starts to pick itself back up a little bit, I will definitely do that. I've been talking for a long time, so I'm gonna try to pick just a couple more questions. All right, I have a guest. This is Harley. I get questions about my dogs a lot. I have 2 of them. You can always hear them in the back of my videos, but this is Harley. He's a rescue. He's 4 years old, and he is a pit bull mix. He's mixed with Rottweiler, Husky, and a bunch of other things. He's a super nervous dog compared to Tabasco. I'll put a picture of Tabasco over here because he's doing his own thing, but he is 1, and he's a Great Pyrenees mixed with an Australian Shepherd, and he is a bundle of joy and energy. So, wanna lie down? Alrighty, let's do a couple more questions. Somebody asked how to cope with being heavier than your significant other as a woman. Girl, I have felt this in the past so strongly because in my head, I thought that it was wrong. I thought that the woman had to be smaller. And this is not the case. There are so many different kinds of relationships, so many different kinds of bodies, you know, able body relationships, people who aren't in able bodies, dating people who are in able bodies. And I think what we need to do is get rid of that stereotype that the woman is meant to be smaller. I think that that's something that's been put onto us, like from the patriarchy, you know, like from these ideas of men wanting their women smaller and of men wanting their women to be pretty and to be little housewives and to cook and clean and have sex with them, basically. And I know that it's so weird to say, just like get over it, because obviously you're allowed to feel the way that you're feeling. Can you not lick yourself while I'm filming? You don't have to fit into this traditional role, this idea of like a traditional woman or a traditional partner. And also I would voice these insecurities that you have with your partner because 1, they're not with you because of your size at all. And if they are, screw them, kick them to the curb, get a new one. Like, we don't need that kind of mentality in 2020, okay? But I think it's a lot of work that you have to do with yourself. There's not really tips and tricks, but I've been there. I have felt crappy about it in the past, and I kind of question, like, why am I feeling crappy? And then I also make a list of the reasons why my partner is with me. Like, what are my great qualities completely outside of my weight? What do I bring to this relationship? You have to focus on the good and just not focus on society's idea of what a relationship should look like. Another question that I got is, what is the toughest barrier that you faced in recovery? Oh boy, I think that the hardest thing about recovery in general, I spoke about this briefly in another video, is just diet culture is everywhere. We live in a very diet-centered world. The media is full of diet culture, Instagram, Facebook, commercials, movies, TVs, even songs. So I found it really hard to recover when I was trying to escape these totally toxic thoughts that everywhere I turned, I saw a new diet, I saw a new diet trend. And that was really hard as somebody who was trying to escape diet culture altogether and just to be like, look, this is bullshit. The diet industry is like a $60 billion industry. That's insane, and it doesn't work. No diets work. A lot of studies show that people gain weight back and then some, you know, and a lot of people show that it has terrible effects on people's mental health. What's the point, man? All that I know is that diets don't work, and it was really hard to navigate a world knowing that diet culture is always going to be there. I think that that's made it really hard, is knowing that I can never really escape it, but making where I go on social media, for example, as safe a place as possible. So following accounts that make me happy, following accounts that have different body sizes, diversity, different ethnicities, so many different things to offer, and that is so important to me. And one of the last questions that I'm going to end with is, somebody said, how do I know if I have an eating disorder? And I just want to say quickly that eating disorders don't have a look. You can't have a lineup of people and guess who has an eating disorder, because Eating disorders are a mental health issue. It is something that kills so many people because a lot of the time it goes unnoticed or undiagnosed. If you find yourself struggling with food at all, or thinking about food constantly, or restricting your food, or if you're scared of certain foods or certain food groups, or if you're afraid to eat snacks that have high calories, if you're afraid to drink your calories, if you weigh your food, if you track your food, these are all signs that you don't have a healthy relationship with food. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have an eating disorder, but you don't have to have an eating disorder to get help, to talk about it, to heal your relationship with food. That's the reason why I make these videos, because I want you guys to understand that thinking about food constantly, and measuring your food and weighing your food and not eating and skipping meals and skipping social events and not going in the pool and comparing yourself to other people and following these bad diets is not worth it.
Seriously, what the fuck are you doing?
Life is so much better when you're just living your life, when you're not thinking about food, when you can just go to any social event, when you can just live your life. I get so many messages from you guys every single day, and they literally make my whole day. The idea that I have helped just one person, I have no words. I needed a role model when I was going through the darkest of my days. I needed someone to be like, rolls are okay, cellulite is normal, diets are not normal, thinking about food constantly is not normal. I needed somebody to tell me that, and I didn't have that role model in my life, which is the reason I'm making these videos. I am here to share with you that life is possible, that recovering is the best thing that you can do for yourself, and that you can live your life and be so full of joy and happiness after recovery. But let me tell you this quickly, is that recovery is not all sunshine and rainbows. It was really, really hard, and some days I have moments where I just completely break down and cry and hate my body and want to start to restrict and come up with these diet plans, and just know that that's normal. Recovery is something that you choose every single day. It's not something that just goes away. I don't think that I'll ever be completely healed, but because I am actively choosing to recover every day and to work on my relationship with my body and food, I have become a happier person. I have become a more stable person. My mental health has never been better, and I feel great. I think those are all the questions that I'm going to answer for today. You guys asked so many. It was so nice just to sit down and chit chat and be in my pajamas near my bookcase on a dog bed and like be totally chill with that. But if you did like this video, please feel free to subscribe, like, and leave a comment down below. And I would love to know where you guys are from. If you can comment below where you're from, what state you're from, what country you're from. I would just love to know. It's so cool to see a community from all over the world. So thank you guys so much. And like I said, I post videos every single Saturday. So I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. And just know that healing is totally worth it. Okay? Okay. Bye, guys. I don't know why I waved like that. Oh my goodness. Goodbye, guys.
I think you're wasting my time, cause if it's really meant to be, you'll be with me tonight.